And last but not least, we have the Vortex Flanger. So let's go through the specs of that. Firstly, we have the speed control, which we use to set the speed of the effect. Next to that, we have the depth control. Use the depth knob to set the intensity of the effect. The more you turn the knob clockwise, the more out of tune the modulated part of the signal is. And then underneath the speed, we have feedback control. Use the feedback knob to control the amount of feedback of the short modulated delay that causes the flanging effect. Turn the knob counterclockwise to get a negative feedback and clockwise to get a positive feedback. Where the positive range gives a traditional studio type feedback, the negative range gives a more extreme and tube-like sound. And lastly, we have delay time. Typical delay values for flanging effects are around 1 to 2 milliseconds, whereas chorus effects occur with delay times around 10 milliseconds. Short delay times give very intense jet engine type sounds with plenty of high-end frequencies, and longer delay times give the slightly darker, more tube type sounds. And then in the middle we have once again a little metal toggle switch that goes 3 ways. Starting up top, we have the flanger. Characteristic flanging sound occurs when a pitch modulated part of the signal is slightly delayed and fed back to the input of the effects algorithm. Experiment with the feedback parameter to get an idea of the effects you can achieve. And then in the middle position we have the tone print. And then lastly, on the toggle switch, we have the tape setting, also known as the through zero flange. Emulates the original way of creating a flange effect, with 2 identical pieces of audio material being played back simultaneously on 2 tape decks and then being mixed on a 3rd deck. So that's a pretty impressive feature to have. Okay, starting with the Vortex Flanger, I'm using some of the suggested settings from the Vortex Flanger manual that it comes with, and I'm starting off with one called Summer's Time. So we're on the flanger setting on the metal toggle switch, which is in the up position. Speed control is at 1 o'clock, depth is at 9 o'clock, feedback is at 10 o'clock, and the delay time is at 1 o'clock. So this is my clean sound. And now with the pedal. Really watery sounding flange, that it sounds great. And now I'm just going to combine it with a bit of analog delay courtesy of the flashback delay from TC Electronics, playing the same sort of thing again. So combined with a little bit of delay, it sounds gorgeous. So here's another setting from the TC manual, and it's called Unchain My Flange. And all the controls are set at 9 o'clock, and we're still on the flanger setting on the metal toggle switch. And this is what it sounds like. Very slow sort of jet engine sound if you combine that with a little bit of overdrive. I suppose you could almost liken to it of that of an envelope filter and auto wire, which is a really cool feature. It sounds really cool. Very touch sensitive, which is a very useful dynamic feature. Okay, so now I've put it into the middle position on the metal toggle switch, which is the tone print setting, and this is the factory preset tone print. it adds a really cool dynamic to your rhythm guitar sounds, just adding a different texture which livens it up a little bit more on your rhythm part. Now we're on to the tape setting. Now this is another one of the suggested sounds from the instruction manual called Bold as Jimmy. So it's on the tape setting on the metal toggle switch. So the speed control is at 9 o'clock, as is the depth, and then the feedback control is at 3 o'clock, and the delay time is at 9 o'clock as well. And this is what you get. That's a really interesting sound. As I explained in the description at the beginning, it's emulating the old tape flange sounds from the 1960s and 70s that were made popular by such players as Jimi Hendrix. So if I had a stereo rig set up, you could pan the guitar sounds between the two cabinets and it would sound really cool and psychedelic. And lastly, still on the tape setting, I've dialed in a tone where the speed control is at noon, depth is at 11 o'clock, feedback is at noon, and the delay time is all the way up, and this is what it sounds like. Kind of a cross between a chorus and a flange. It's a lovely warm tone. So that's what the Vortex Flanger sounds like with a single coil guitar. Now we're going to move on to a 7-string to give you some of those tones. Okay, so what I have here is an Ibanez RG 7-string that I borrowed off a friend of mine to get some different sounds for you guys. And the only thing that's different from stock is that it has a Damasio Evolution 7 in the bridge and a Damasio Blaze in the neck position. They're great sounding pickups and they look really cool and bright green against the black. So I'm going to give you some clean tones with the Vortex Flanger and then some dirty tones as well. So here we go. So quite dark, eerie sound there. And I was back on the flanger setting on the pedal. Speed and feedback were at noon, depth was at 11 o'clock, and the delay time was all the way up. It's a really great sound, really dark and moody. So I've moved on to the overdrive channel of the Diesel Einstein. I'll play you a bit of a tune and then I'll engage the pedal to show you what it sounds like. Flanger. Great pedal. I've merely scratched the surface of what this thing is capable of. You can create some really beautiful sounds and some very bizarre sounds. And of course it has the fantastic tone print feature, so you can create your own sounds.